Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial session. In this tutorial I'm going to be going into a very important or specific design, and this is going to be very detailed because by the end of this session you should be able to recreate what I'm about to show you without fail. Now today we are going to be doing something unique, which is designing a book cover. Now if you go over Canva templates, you will see diverse book covers, right? So if you are designing a book cover, you will see different templates, but this is not what we are going to be doing today. We are going to be customizing our book. So if you want to write a book from start to finish and you want to be able to do your book cover design by yourself without giving a graphic designer, this tutorial is for you. So the first thing you want to do before we come over here is to go over to this website, KDP cover calculator. All right, so let's do it. Go to KDP cover calculator. This is it. So this is what the website looks like. This is what the template looks like. Here you're going to enter your book information. So these are the basic things you need to set in before you go over to Canva to do your design. So the first thing you want to do is to enter your binding type. Here we have two different options. We have hardcover and we have paperback. So we are going to be doing a paperback design for this tutorial. Now we are going to select the interior type. Now what it means is, the inside of your book, what color do you want? Most book copies are in black and white. We have some premium colored book, we have some standard book. For this tutorial we're choosing black and white, right? For paper type, you're going to choose what color of the paper do you want to use, right? Is it a white paper or a cream paper? We are going to go for a white paper. All right, reading direction. Now, how do you flip your pages? Do we flip from right to left or left to right? In most cases, our books are flipped from left to right. So we are going to choose the direction as left to right. Alright, for measurement unit, we are going to select inches, right? We have inches and millimeter. We want to measure in inches. Interior trim size. Alright, we have different types of trim size depending on the book, but for this session we are going to use 6 by 9 inches. Okay, now we come over to page count. For the page count, this is where we have a little bit of technicalities. You need to know the number of your pages for your word. So if you have written a book using a word document on your notepad and you're using maybe a 15 size or 18 size, you need to reduce that. And then it does not also, it's not only the page size for the book. You're going to add some your title page, your pre-cover pages, and the rest of the pages. So this is what you want to do here. So let's assume that your cover or your book, your entire book itself, from chapter 1 to maybe chapter 7, is 300 in total, right? So let's see. All right, let's assume that that is 300. Let's look for a sticky note so that we do some little math. Alright, so let's assume that the number of pages that we've written for our book is 300 pages. So this 300 pages, I'm talking about chapter 1 to chapter 10 or 7, regardless of how many chapters. So the actual pages of the book is 300 pages. This is not your page count. So you have, okay, number of pages 300. Now, to get your actual page count, you have to include every other page before that page. Now we are talking about your title page, your dedication, alright, page. We are talking about acknowledgement pages. Some people also will like to have a blank page before the chapter 1. So acknowledgement page, table of content. The same for the back cover. So maybe at the end of the book, you don't want it to end and you have other books you've written and you want to showcase it, you also add those pages. So the total number for your page count is not only the number of actual pages that you have your work going on, you have to include the rest of these pages. So let's say we have 1 2 3 4 in front, and let's say 3 at the back. So we have 300 plus 7, right? 4 in the front, 4 at the back. Your own can be more. So we have a total number of 307 pages, and this is what we want to write here. And also another thing to consider is the font you use when you are typing. So when you are typing your book and maybe on Word document, and you use an Anton font, and you use a font size of 18, you know that you want, when you reduce it, it also makes the number of pages a little bit more or less depending. So the number of total number you have to consider after doing this reduction here to get the actual size here, and then adding all those things here, is what will give you the page count. So for here we are working with 307. Alright, so the moment you add your page count, considering all these factors, you click on calculate dimension. Alright, so this is it. This is the dimension of the book, front, back, spine inclusive, including the bleeds. Now don't worry about this part. Now what you need to worry about is clicking on downloading templates. I'll explain more when we do that. So you want to, after doing your calculations, you download the template that has been generated for you, and it normally comes in a zipped folder. So you want to go to your download files and you want to unzip. For me, what I'm doing, I'm right clicking on this and I'm clicking on extract all, and then I click on extract. Alright, so this gives us 3 different documents inside the zip folder. Our main area of concern is this one. Let me open it, the PNG file. Alright, so this PNG file is all we need, and inside this PNG file, the most important number we need here is this part that has overall dimensions, this 12.941 by 9.250. This is our dimension, our width and our height. And let's go over to Canva since we've generated this. Alright, so now we are going back to the Canva app, where we are going to be doing the calculations and customizing our template. So we are not going to use, we are going to go back to home, and we are going to go to customize size. You are not using an ready-made template, you are customizing your own size. So this is what we need to do. We need to go over here and get this figure. We have 12.941, which we add here, 12.941, and for height we have 9.250. 9.250. Remember, when we are doing our calculation, we calculated in inches, so you come under unit and change it to inches. So we have 12.941, 9.250. I'll confirm the figures. Yeah, 12.941 by 9.250. So once you've imputed your width and your height, you're going to click on create new design. Voila, we have the template that we need, we have the custom size that we need. So we can now go ahead and start designing our book cover. Let's rename this as new book cover. So always rename your files so that you can easily locate them. So the first thing we need to do when we have this black canvas, this is how our front and back is looking like. This is including the spine and the bleed and every other thing. We will have to materialize this concept and give it life. So we are going to go over upload, right, and click on upload files. So the file you want to upload is this file here. Alright, let's see. This file, the PNG file that has the image, this is what you want to upload. So remember that Canva works with data, so you have to have a strong internet connection and then work with that. So I'm going to wait for this file to upload. Alright, So once it's uploaded, what you want to do, you want to click on it to import it on your work surface. So this is our work surface and this is our template. So I'm going to zoom it in so that you will see it here. Alright, so this is our work surface, work frame. This is our template. What I want to do now is to drag at these corners. You see all these ball points, this is where you can move and adjust. So we are dragging from these points to cover our template. You want to ask me why, right? Alright, so we have this covered. So this gives us an idea of what our front, this is the front and this is the back, what it looks like, and this is the spine. Okay, and these are the bleeds. So this is when it goes to the printer, you don't want them to cut anything important, so you want to make sure that you work within this frame. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to go to transparency and reduce it by half. So we reduce it to 50 so that we can still see a shadow of the imported file while working. So we are going to create something custom now, and let's say I want to create a digital book, a book on digital literacy. Okay, so let's go over here. You can either go to elements or you scroll down here to go to photos here, and then we'll ask, give it a prompt, digital images. So we are looking for a picture that has a feel of digital image or digital marketing, depending. So now we are going to do a choosing. We are going to choose a book, and if you notice, this is a portrait frame, so I'm going to be intentional here and choose a frame that matches. And this does not mean you cannot use a landscape, you just have to adjust it. But for this tutorial, let's work with looking for a portrait frame and that we like. So you find a template that you like here, and note, if it's not giving you what you want, you can change the prompt. Okay, so let's see digital marketing. Okay, alright, so let's see this image. Okay, for my front cover, do I like this? Let's see. Now this is looking like teamwork. I like the front. So what I want to do now is to cover here. Okay, now you might want to cover this part, this your spine. Okay, you might want to cover your spine, or if you don't want to, you want to add a new shape. Okay, so for now, let me leave it like this. I will show you how to do it afterwards. So we have something for our front cover. So let's say the name of this book that we are designing is called Upskill. So let's see Upskill, if there is an image that portrays that. Alright, that we can use for the back cover. Now I'm also considering the colors in the front page, and make sure I find something similar for the back. Okay, something similar for the back. Okay, so we found something for the back, so I'm going to just adjust it over here. I'm going to adjust it by the right. Remember, we are leaving this middle part and ensuring that we cover everything front and back. So we have our front, we have our back. So we have this spine still empty. So there are two things that can be done. Either we cover it completely from here. Okay, that's one way. Or we can add a shape. Maybe you don't want to use your design for the front, for the side. We can add a blank shape here. So we are selecting a square, and then we are going to adjust it here to fit into the spine. Don't worry about the color. can go over to edit if you want to change the color and find a color that matches, right, that blends here. So even if you want to do a gradient color for the boat, we can, which I think this is nice. And for gradient color now, let's go over here. So if you want to change how it looks, we can come to the style to change the style of the book. So I think we'll leave it at this point. This is one way. So now the next thing you want to do is to see what you've done so far. So far we have the front cover, the spine, the back cover. We are going to go to position here and go over to layers, and we are going to drag this, our template, remember the PNG, and drag it all the way to the top. Beautiful. Now the reason we are dragging it all the way to the top is to check that we don't have anything important outside the margins. Alright, so click on it, go to position and check, is this where it should be? Yes. So yes, so everything is within the border, the front, the spine, and the back cover. So this is what we have now. So we are going to position it back. So what we are going to be doing at this stage is making some changes and confirming that we are still within reach. So once we have this, let's say we want to give our book a title. We go to T for text, and we're going to add a heading. So let's see, the name of this book is Upskill to Dominate. Alright, Upskill to Dominate. Is this a catchy name? Upskill to Dominate. Or train, sorry, let's say train the team to dominate. This is a lot of words, so I don't know. What would you have named this book? Let me know in the comments. Sorry about that. I'm saying train the team to dominate. Okay, so this is the name of my book. Wow, that's great. Alright, so now we are going to play around with font. Let's choose a font that speaks to this book. Now you can, this is the fun part, choose anything that you want. So it is not cast on stone. Let's see. Train to dominate. Alright, do I want to change the color of my book? This is where I can also determine that. Train to dominate. So okay, let's say I'm choosing this font. Let me go over to effects. This is where I went to, and I go to outline and see a template that works for me. So let's go to outline and change the color of the back course, beautiful, to black. Alright, so we have train to dominate here. So let's click on effect again to see whether we can add anything. Thickness. So how thick do you want it? This is where you also determine that. 90 is fine. What else can we add? Alright, train to dominate. No, we just want it like this. So for now, let's leave the book at this point, or rather the title at this point. Train to dominate. And I'm going to reduce my, okay, train the team to dominate. So this is it, the title of my book, Train to Dominate. And And who is the author? Your coach, right? So I'm going to just duplicate that. I don't know if you saw what I did. I went here, clicked on this, and duplicated this text. So instead of going back and forth here, I just duplicated it. So I'm going to write my name. Alright, maybe I'll write a book with this title, so watch out. The nearest future, I might write a book that has this title. We'll never know. Okay, so I'm going to minimize and bring it over here. So let's change the font size to 24. So this is it. Train to Dominate by Precious Omura. So I've added the front, the title, and the name. So we want to, some of the books you read, you notice that you have this same information here. Some of them come blank. So we are going to duplicate this and adjust. So I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. 90. Alright, I'm going to minimize this. Okay. Minimize this here. Let's use 12 and do the same for here. Duplicate, rotate it 90 degrees. Beautiful. And then we make adjustment here. So we use 12 here, we can use 12 here. So it seems as if it's tiny, so let's use 16. One thing we can do here now is not only to expand, we can stretch it. So if we are stretching it here, we should stretch it on the title, or you can freestyle it. So we have 12, size 12 here, or rather 16. We have 16, yeah, 16. So I'm going to just adjust it to make sure that they're equal. So Train to Dominate, this is what we have. Let me zoom in a bit so that you can see what we've done so far. So this is what we have here. Alright, so if you want, you can make the same adjustment here, just for the synergy part, so that everything aligns together. Just for the synergy, you can do this, Train to Dominate, and then make adjustments. Train the team to dominate. But I feel that the last part, the last method, still works for here. So I'm still going to leave it at this point for here. And maybe I'll choose a round figure here, 40. So I'll choose a round figure. Now we've done this here, we've done this, we've done this. So we are going to go back to position and move our checker. Let's call it a checker now, something that helps us ensure that we are on track. I'll move it to the top. Okay, now if you notice, this name here is covering some information. You don't want it. Alright, and the name here, let me minimize so that you see. Okay, it's still within the border. Alright, we are still on check. So this name here is still on check within the border. Alright, so this is it. So you want to drag it also to the back, One thing you want to do, you want to move it to the back part. Alright, now did you notice something? That our image expanded. So we're going to make this adjustment to make sure that we are covered here. Beautiful, we are still on track. So this is what we have now. Front cover. We are going to generate something about the author at the back. Okay, alright, so we are going to duplicate one of this. Let's duplicate this one. Come over here, rotate it back to 0° here. So we are going to impute the about here, and for the sake of this tutorial we're going to be using this to generate that. So we are going to be using this chart, and we are going to give it a prompt. The prompt is, you are a writer and you've just completed your book. Just completed your book. Train the team to dominate. Write a blurb for the back cover. So when this prompt is generated, you have to wait for it to come up, and this is it. Alright, let's just copy this part for the sake of this tutorial, and we are going to go back to the book we are working on, and we are going to add the about book. So we are going to minimize it here and make sure it fits, and don't worry, we are going to change the font as well. So we can just title it here, about the book. There's always like a blurb at the back if you've read many hard copy books. So we're going to choose a font that aligns with this. There are some recently used fonts here, and we'll see whether it works for us. So you want your work also to be legible, so choose fonts that people can read. So I've selected this font, and I want to change the text color. If you notice, you can't read what is there, and I'm going to go back to effect and remove this effect that I have here. So can you see that it's a little bit more legible, so we can read this now. So in certain copies of or hard copies, you will see that after about the book you will see something about the author. So you can also add that if you want something to be written about you. And practically what we are going to do is to duplicate what we have. Alright, let's duplicate and make some changes here. So remember, this is generated, so you can write something customized for yourself. So maybe we'll write a book in this light, we don't know yet. So let me duplicate this page here and write something brief about the author, and we are still going to use our prompt. So write a brief about the author. Alright, search, give it a prompt to search Instagram, so that they can use your previous information to generate something. Alright, so we are generating this. And find information. So we are giving a prompt so that we have something from there. Alright, so these are the two feedbacks that we have from the internet, one from from Google, one from Instagram. And this is why uploading your online portfolio is always very, very key, because when somebody is searching for you on any platform, if you are not visible there, you cannot be seen. So because I have this information on my socials, I'll this about the author has been generated, so I can choose either one, and I think I want to go with this one that is just simple and short. We can do something lengthy after this, but for this tutorial, let's just focus on this one. So I've written something about the author, which is beautiful. So you can use a line to separate this information. So to do that, you want to go to Elements, click on Shapes, and find a line. I can draw a line above it. So this is just customized for you. You want to do whatever you want to make your work look outstanding, and so that you will not even notice that is not, you are a pro now by the time you're ending this session. So you want to be able to develop something so that you can be proud to give it to your printer if that's the case. So I'm going to change the color from black to blue, maybe a straight blue. I think it works. Alright, so we have something about the author, we have something about the book. Now, some books that you read, you notice that they have images, right? Inserted images here. So let's do that for the course of this tutorial, so that this will be like a full add-on for you. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over to Frames, under Element, and we're going to choose a shape. So let's choose a square, and we are going to minimize it. Don't worry. So what this frame helps us to do is that you can insert your images on the frame without doing much editing on your picture size or photo size. Alright, so let's go to Upload now and find an image that speaks to the professionalism of the book, right? So I have different images, but let's see one that we can just take, maybe one that has a corporate outfit that we can just use for this design. Alright, give me a moment to find an image. So over here we have different images, so let's choose this image, right? And then we'll move it to the frame. You see what it does? It fits in. So you can just double click on it if you want the image to pop out a little bit more, and expand it to choose, crop it to your desired size. So we have this image, and we want this image somewhere around here. So what will happen to the text, you might want to ask? We are going to adjust this text. Okay, so we are going to adjust this text here. We can either move it to the left, to the right, to accommodate the image, or we can still leave it the way it is. So this talks about the author, and also you can adjust the spacing or increase the spacing if you want to, but you still want it to be legible. So let's do something like this. So you can also increase the size of the image to fit the length of your text. This is also optional, or you can make it minimal like this. It's also okay depending on what you want to do and what you want to achieve. Alright, so the same for the book, but for now let's leave it at this. We have a picture of the author, speaking about the author, the same size here, same size here. So you have something like this. Right, so with this done, what we've successfully done now is that we have designed a book cover. At this rate, I think you might want to clap for yourself if you followed up to this minute. You've done well. So you've gotten this technical know-how. The next thing, alright, let's confirm that we are within range. Always confirm, so that not when you send your book to the printer, they are calling you to tell you, this thing will not fit. Alright, let's see. Okay, we see that this is within the frame. This is about us, is still within frame. This white parts, right, is still within us. Okay, and the next one is also within frame. Everything is just within the frame, which is good. So you want to drag it also all the way to the last part where you picked it from. So this is our book. So before we export this template that we've done, if you want, you can log down everything you've done, group it together to be on the safer side. If you want, you can just leave it at that. So what we want to do now is to go back to position. Alright, and we'll find this. Now by grouping, you see that everything has turned into one, but if you want, you can ungroup. Yeah, you can ungroup it there so that you can see them individually. But what I'm looking for is this particular template here. So what we want to do, because remember when we started we minimized it to 50, you can reduce it. Let me drag it up to the part top so that you see what we are doing here. This is our book cover, the template we used. So initially it was at 50. When you are done editing, right, you want to either delete it or minimize to 0, and I'll always choose the minimize to 0 option because this is like your build up of work. This is like your workflow. So if there are any corrections to make, you know where to go. Do you understand? So you know where to go when there are corrections to make over here. But if you delete it and there are corrections, you now have to go back and forth to import. Alright, so to be on the safer side, just minimize it to 0, reduce the transparency to 0, and you are still good. So the next thing we are doing after that is to click on share to download our book cover. So we've done a book cover and we are clicking on download here. After going to share, click on download here, and we are downloading it as PNG, the suggested format. You can download it as JPEG, depending. So this is the first thing we've done. Alright, so what we're doing now is book cover design and mockup. So after downloading our book cover, we are going to put it on a mockup template so that you see how it looks like on a template. Alright, so what I'm going to do, still working on that surface, I'm not going to leave this environment, I'm not going to open a new Canva. All I'm doing is I'm adding a new page. So I'm adding a new blank page, and what am I doing now? I'm going to upload files. So when I go to upload files, I'll go to download and you will see what we've worked on. Okay, it's still downloading, so it's not yet here. So let's give it time. It's still downloading, the image is still downloading. Alright, so wait for it to download. Alright, so our book cover has downloaded. So we are going to click on it. Let me minimize. We go to upload files, go to downloads, and we are going to click on this book cover that we've developed. So it's going to load back up. So let's go all the way to the top to see it here. So this is our book cover now. We are going to import it back and then use it to create a mockup. So this is like a 2-in-1 tutorial. If you are watching this tutorial now, you are getting 2-in-1 knowledge and value for your money, and there is a freebie information that I'll give you at the end of this tutorial. So watch till the end so that you get the freebie. Alright, so we are waiting for this to download. Alright, it has uploaded, so we are going to click on it to bring it into our workstation. Alright, so this is our book cover. This is our book cover that we've uploaded. Alright, so this is it here. We are going to put it in a mockup. Now before I do that, let me go over to the background color. Alright, let me do that first before going to the background color. So this is the book cover, front and back. We are going to click on this image. This is now an image, right? Click on it and we go to apps. This is where we want to go to apps so that we can choose a mockup. There are different apps that are embedded or linked with Canva, but what we are looking for today is mockup, and it's one of the popular ones, maybe because I've used it more often. So it's on top here. You click on mockup and it shows you different templates for mockups. There are different templates. If you are designing something for a souvenir and you want to see how it looks like at a finished product, that is what the mockup is used for. Okay, so we are going to wait for it to load, and then we are going to choose the one that we want to use. Alright, these are different mockup templates. If you see here, you see videos, you see smartphones, you see print, apparel. So depending on what you're doing, but here our focus is on print. So we're going to click on see all. Under print, we still have different formats. Is it an invitation card? Is it an envelope? What we're working on is book. So we're going to scroll down to see where we have some book templates. Alright, so this is one of the book templates. Let's see the dimension we want to use. So let's click on this one and wait for it to effect. Alright, so once you choose a mockup template, this is it here. But what you want to do now is to make your adjustment, because what we have is front and back cover. Okay, you want to make your adjustment. Canva gives us, mostly for now, templates for front cover, but you can make your adjustment to still achieve what you want to achieve. So this is what happens when you go to the printer. Can you see? So if you don't position your text properly, some important information might be missing. So we are going to click on apply changes. Beautiful. Can you see? Let me zoom in so that you see our book. Our book is getting a shape. So we are going to, if you notice, the spine is still plain, it still has white. For here, what we want to do is click on it and change the color of the spine. So let's use this color. So this is the spine for our book, right? Very nice. So let's change the background color so that we see this book in something different. So this is it. Our book cover. Alright. This is a template. So let's choose another template for mockup. I'm choosing another one. We go to see all. Let me choose another book. Okay, let's choose a book that is lying down. Alright, so because you chose the frame first, we are going to go back to upload to find our book cover that we downloaded. So go to upload, come over here, click on it, and you want to drag it over here. Allow it to load. Alright, so once it has uploaded or loaded, we are going to do the same thing you did the first time. We are going to adjust it to fit. Make sure you cover entirely, because if you don't cover entirely, it will have these white surfaces here. So you want to cover your page very well, and then click on apply changes and wait for it to apply. This is it. And the same thing we did for the spine. We are going to change the color and click on apply changes, and we have it with a new color. So now you have two different templates. So let me position this one to the back. Let's have something like this. So we have two books, or book of mockups. The book like this and the book. So yeah, we can have something like this. Now remember, you can duplicate this book to have more of it. cast on stone, that is one. So yeah, we have two of it, which is, I think, train the team to dominate. So if you want to make this thing more fun, you can go over here to elements, add some shadows to your work. Now this is you being creative. Let's search shadows. Shadows. Let's see whether we have something like book shadows. Okay, we have one. Let's see how it looks like. Now let me change this background color so that I see what I'm working with. So this is what the shadow is looking like. And we don't want the shadows to overtake the image, so we are going to ensure it does not. So we are adding shadows and we are positioning it. So this is the shadow I added here. I'll minimize it. To make it look as if it has some depth, even for the sides of this. So now we have this template. We can move all of them, group it, adjust it. This is me just playing with this. So let me just finish this up quickly by saying available, now available. Yeah, it will be available soon, don't ask me when. But yeah, you should be able to see this book soon. Now available on. Okay, let me duplicate this. On Amazon. Alright, so my book is now on sorry, not on available, right? On Amazon. So we can splice this up, make use of our colors here. And change the font color to something poppy. Alright, so we can change the effect color to yellow, or white, or black. Just make it lively. Alright. So now I'm available on Amazon. We can change the font, make it something fun. So this is what we have now. Let's see, increase the font size. Now available on Amazon. We can add effects to whichever one we want. So we can make this big or increase the thickness. And we can change the color of the background. Available on Amazon. We can choose a template that works. it however we want. So this is your creativity at its peak, at its finest. So we have developed a book cover, and we are going to save this so I can start sharing this on my social media platform. Yay, pending on when I have my book, right? So I'm going to click on download, and remember, select only the current page. Click on done and click on download. Now for the freebie, so this freebie is another site that I discovered as I learned, on where you can get more templates for book covers to showcase your book more. So it's called DIYbookcovers.com. So DIYbookcover.com. So you want to search on it on the internet slash 3D mockup. So this is just my own shortcut. The first thing you need to do is also to sign up on the platform. So here it gives you different templates, whether you want your book to show in a single or composite format. So this is it for the book cover. Alright, so before we get to this point, there is something I want to show you. DIY book cover. So before we go to the 3D mockup part, let me show you this site itself. So this is what the site looks like. You want to, log in. They will ask you for your email. So they will ask you for your email. So your email is what you use to access the different templates that they have available. So once you log in, it will give you this freebie thing. Just go to no thanks, I just need a free template, and you see all the free templates that you can have here. Alright, so you want to click on book cover generator, allow it to load. So once it loads, it come up like this. You want to click on this that shows import image. So we are going to import our book cover, this initial one. Import it here and minimize over here. Down here you see where you can minimize it. Now it will show you a one page. So you crop your book. Alright, your book cover, let's adjust it, front page and back page. Alright, so once you are done, you are going to click over here, download. So what I just cropped in is only the front page, so click on download. So you select how you want to download it, download as PNG, and you wait for it. So let me show you what it looks like. So you've downloaded only your front page. So this can be a template you upload. So do the same for the back cover. Alright, so I'm going to import it again. Yes, this book cover here, and I'm just going to move this one over here, minimize so that you see what I'm doing. I'm going to expand it from here to ensure that the only thing covering is the back cover. Okay, so this is also what you download as PNG. Alright, so we have the front cover, the back cover downloaded. Alright, so once this is done, you want to go over to the one that has the 3D mockup. Alright, and step 1, choose your template. Alright, so let's say I want to show my book in this format. I selected this template. Let's see. Okay, this second format, this one looks like a brown book cover, so let's select that. Let's use this template. It can be white or black. So you're going to upload, select a file. Now you have your front cover, you have your back cover. So what are we designing? Let's design a front cover book first. You click on upload and you watch it upload here, over here. So once it is completed, once your book cover is completed, this is it here at 100%. You want to click on next. All right. So by clicking on this, you want to choose which format you want it to download. So I'm clicking on DNG. Remember, you selected a 3D mockup design, so you wait for it to download. All right, this is it downloading, and it is done. It does not even waste time. So immediately you click on it, you see that your book is in this format. Beautiful, right? So the same way for composites, you can go back and select, let's see, select something for your back cover. Alright, the same way we selected for front cover, let's do the same way, single for back cover. Go to step 2, browse, upload, next. Okay, we're waiting for it. So what we've done, uploaded this back cover, we're going to click on upload. Go to next.